step number 3. Grazing can happen for many, many people after work, cooking dinner and preparing for the nighttime routine. You're exhausted, you're stressed. We've talked many times that willpower does not exist, right? Like we've used it up through the day. And then we find ourselves making dinner for the fam, and we're eating a little bit of this and a little bit of that and so on. And you maybe have cleaned your pantry up. Everything's in individual Ziploc bags, and you're just eating a little bit of the sauce, and you're eating a little bit of the veggies, and you're eating a little bit of the noodles. And before you know it, you kind of had a partial meal, right? So that is also grazing behavior. So here's what we want to do for cooking. Okay, if you're a grazer while you cook, I want you to get in a habit, and this worked really well for me. I was horrible at grazing when cooking. I had 2 toddlers and a baby, and 9 times out of 10, I had probably eaten my dinner and everyone else's dinner before I even served dinner, you know what I mean? So what I would do is when I walked in the kitchen, I was very strategic. I'd put either a pack of sugar-free gum or a pack of Altoids on the counter. I got in the disciplined habit when I was getting ready to cook dinner to put one of those in my mouth. Now, there's there's another component. I then took a small Tupperware container, I laid it on the counter, and every time I was going to put something in my mouth, because it's automatic, 9 times out of 10, you probably don't even realize you're doing it. I would have it like this, and I would put it into the Tupperware container. And what it was is to bring my awareness to how many calories I was eating while grazing. Now, as I progressed in my journey, and you guys know I'm all about having that pre-planned treat, right? What I would say to myself is, Heather, you can have all these things that are in the Tupperware container, which I didn't really want, right? It was just like baby carrots and random things. Or you could pass on this and have a better treat tonight. And I would kind of focus on rewarding myself for not grazing. But what I did was I had the gum in the Altoid in my mouth. And guess what? Well, first off, it kind of makes your taste buds a little bit weird. Like just to put something in there wouldn't taste as good. 1. But 2, it requires the act of pulling something out and putting something in. So if I'm in there cooking and I got nothing in my mouth and I'm hungry, I'm going to be more apt just to pop things in my mouth, right? But if I have an Altoid or a sugar-free piece of gum in my mouth, I have to pull that out to put the food in. And then I've got this weird taste going on because I've had something minty in my mouth, and now I'm throwing in something that's not minty. And so that combination, plus putting it in the container, plus rewarding myself for not grazing, was a huge, huge success. Because I will say most of my grazing happened while cooking. So I think that tip will be very helpful for you. So what do you need? Altoids or sugar-free gum, small Tupperware container. Take a look at what you're pre-planning for your nighttime treat and make a deal with yourself. If you do this process, maybe you upgrade your evening treat. Because here's the reality, all of those things that are accumulating in that box, part of a chicken nugget, part of a this, part of a that, you really are probably adding at least 100, if maybe not 200, or even 300, depending on what you have there, calories into your diet just from the aspect of the grazing behavior. So this one I found to be extremely helpful. It was actually life altering for me. And I think it would be a huge benefit for you.